Okay, so Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness has finally dropped. I saw it yesterday around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Not that that's important, but just throwing it out there that I did get to see it early. That being said, I also was aware of what happens in the movie, most of it anyway, early. There were spoilers out there. I don't know how these guys do it. I imagine there's people that work within these Marvel studios or some kind of, contracted company that leak these things out on, these various websites, and the hype was there. Not only that, but they showed a couple of trailers that showed some characters that you're like, oh, this person is here, this person is there. And I could not contain myself with what I wanted to see in this movie. Now, we are going to talk spoilers here. Overall, I'm going to say that this movie is not a superhero movie. It's mostly a horror movie. There are themes of redemption. There are themes of, just finding your way, finding yourself. It's mostly Doctor Strange and Wanda. It's not mostly Doctor Strange featuring Wanda or Wanda featuring Doctor Strange. It's like they should have titled it Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch Multiverse of Madness. Now, if you were looking for an overview there to see if this movie was for you or not, this is your chance to accept that. If you're wanting to hear spoilers, I'm gonna give you to 3 to click off and maybe come back after you see the movie. If you don't care about the spoilers, obviously stick around. 1, 2, 3. Okay, Multiverse of Madness. First and foremost, what is the multiverse? That's the question you're asking yourself. If you're familiar with the Marvel lore or have been watching the Disney Plus shows and everything, then you know what to expect. You know what you're getting out of this. So if you haven't caught up, then you've got some homework to do. Number one, you probably want to watch the What If series, the animated series on Disney Plus, because some of these characters that you see, they come straight out of that. Also, if you haven't watched, Spider-Man No Way Home, that gives you an idea of a spell Doctor Strange did that kind of set this movie into play. So your homework there is WandaVision, Loki, and then Spider-Man No Way Home. You kind of want to see those to get an idea of what's happening with this multiverse. Essentially, this spell Strange did, not on purpose, but kind of on purpose. Go see Spider-Man No Way Home. It causes some of these worlds to not only collide, but you've got characters and different ones appearing, and then just ways to open up the potential of having characters that, maybe they were in a Fox franchise that's Marvel, but now Marvel owns the rights. Maybe we could see some of those characters without recasts, or maybe this gives you a chance to recast some of these characters. One of the heavily rumored things was, hey, Tom Cruise is going to be in this movie as Iron Man. We saw Iron Centuries, and why would you show that without showing Iron Man? Well, maybe that's to throw you off, or maybe that's just what's in this universe. You never know. You heard Patrick Stewart's voice for Professor X. Patrick Stewart had me hyped up. You saw Captain Carter. These are all characters, well, at least Captain Carter is, a character you saw in the What If show. You saw an evil, sinister Doctor Strange as well. So Sam Raimi, he directed the first 3 Spider-Man movies. He's back. He helmed the director's chair for this one. And what his strengths are have been horror movies. Think Evil Dead, think Darkman, think stuff like that. So this wasn't going to be one of those Avengers Assemble. This was going to be, hey, every corner there might be something terrifying, because the actual villain of the movie is not Nightmare. It's not Mephisto. It's not Dormammu. It's not even Mordo. It's Wanda. And so Wanda is trying to get to her children that she created. And everyone's like, hey, they're not real. At least Doctor Strange is trying to tell her, hey, they're not real. She doesn't care, because what she finds out is you have America Chavez, who some people are like, is this a new character? Is this a character made for, the movie? No, she's Miss Marvel. And she's got the abilities to, and I quote, travel through different dimensions. So she can, jump through all these different universes, and she hasn't got the ability to or she hasn't mastered how to control those abilities yet. At least that's the theme in this movie, and it's about her finding her way. Fun fact: she was supposed to be in the Spider-Man No Way Home. She was going to be used more like a plot device there. You can argue that she still was in this movie, but they gave her as much time to shine as they did Doctor Strange. He's pretty much babysitting her the entire movie, protecting her, if you will. So without telling too much of the movie, it's Strange trying to protect her at the expense of hundreds and thousands of people, you could argue, dying, including a lot of these Illuminati members. Uh, it was gory. This I don't know. I won't. It's not rated R, but if Sam Raimi could have, taken these characters and done how he normally would have done, maybe it could have been. I don't know. I'm just speculating here, but people die early and often. So that kind of dampened my view on the movie because I was hoping that they would go in a direction where they expand and say, hey, we're going to keep this character, and we're going to show like a merging of this multiverse. Instead, it was just not even really a multiverse. It was like maybe 2 or 3 universes that they actually interacted with. There's a cool sequence where you see them go through all these different ones, like the Savage Land. You saw that from X-Men. You saw, some Into the Spider-Verse. You saw lots of little references like that, but you didn't see too many cameoed characters at all. Now, the big one that people are going to like is Mr. Fantastic. He's on this Illuminati team. The Illuminati originally had Mr. Fantastic, Iron Man, Professor X, Black Bolt, and some others, and eventually Black Panther joins. This is not that Illuminati, so I was disappointed to know that we're not going to see that Illuminati. Let an Illuminati, period, and you'll see why when you watch that movie, if you haven't put 2 and 2 together based off of what I've said here. That said, the strengths of the movie was, the direction they took, they made it scary because, hey, there's demons and there's undead and things like that happen, but the weaknesses of it are, hey, the limitations and where they decided to go with the story. It pretty much made my ranking of it like a 7 out of 10. And I'm still sticking with that. I know some people are like, oh, it was fire, it was this. Yeah, you may have enjoyed it for what you saw, not what this movie was selling you on it being, I feel. You can say, well, Yellow Hat Guy, maybe that's because you saw these spoilers in advance, yada, yada. But it's like, hey, this didn't advance. All the Marvel movies progressively advance you to what's coming next. I feel like outside of the cut scene at the end, this really didn't show you anything next. You don't get an idea of what Wanda's going to do next. She doesn't die. And Strange is just like, hey, I've got this other latent ability now. He sees who I believe is his wife in the comic books, and they go on some kind of adventure, but, the rest of the multiverse or the Marvel universe is just left in shambles. There's no like, hey, they left an Easter egg for this or that, or Kang the Conqueror, or any of that stuff. So it was disappointing. But don't look at 7 like it's a bad rating. 7 out of 10 is still good. Some of you need to look at it that way, and it's not like I gave it a 5. 7 out of 10 is still a good movie. It's just, it could have been greater. That said, I'm going to end it here. Like, comment, subscribe, share. If you don't, have a good afternoon, good evening, good night. I'll see you in the next one. Other Yellow Hat Guy is out. Captain Sensation!